When I announced our drawdown in April, I said we would be out by September, and we're on track to meet that target. Excuse me. Our military mission in Afghanistan will conclude on August 31st. The drawdown is proceeding in a secure and orderly way, prioritizing the safety of our troops as they depart. Our military commanders advised me that once I made the decision to end the war, we needed to move swiftly to conduct the main elements of the drawdown. And in this context, speed is safety. And thanks to the way in which we have managed our withdrawal, no one U.S. forces or any forces have been lost. Today, the terrorist threat has metastasized beyond Afghanistan. So, we are repositioning our resources and adapting our counterterrorism posture to meet the threats where they are now, significantly higher in South Asia, the Middle East, and Africa. But make no mistake, our military and intelligence leaders are confident they have the capabilities to protect the homeland and our interests from any resurgent terrorist challenge emerging or emanating from Afghanistan. We are developing a counterterrorism over-the-horizon capability that will allow us to keep our eyes firmly fixed on any direct threats to the United States and the region and act quickly and decisively if needed.
President Joe Biden has announced that U.S. forces will leave Afghanistan by August 31st instead of September 11th, that was the previous date of complete withdrawal of U.S. troops. Now, in a major speech on Wednesday, Joe Biden was at pains to explain the rationale of the Afghanistan exit, even as multiple intelligence assessments have been forecasting that Afghan forces may soon fall to a resurgent Taliban, bringing chaos to the region once again. In his tightrope speech, Biden claimed that their work was finished in Afghanistan, which was to get the terrorists responsible for 9/11 and deliver justice to Osama bin Laden. We did not go to nation build, he emphasized. Now take a listen to what he said.
As I said in April, the United States did what we went to do in Afghanistan, to get the terrorists who attacked us on 9/11 and deliver justice to Osama bin Laden, and to degrade the terrorist threat to keep Afghanistan from becoming a base from which attacks could be continued against the United States. We achieved those objectives. That's why we went. We did not go to Afghanistan to nation build. And it's the right and the responsibility of the Afghan people alone to decide their future and how they want to run their country. Together with our NATO allies and partners, we have trained and equipped over nearly 300,000 current serving members of the military, the Afghan National Security Force, and many beyond that who are no longer serving. Add to that hundreds of thousands more Afghan national defense and security forces trained over the last 2 decades. We provided our Afghan partners with all the tools, let me emphasize, all the tools, training, equipment of any modern military.
Biden's announcements come amidst growing concerns about the future of Afghanistan in the aftermath of U.S. withdrawal. There is growing alarm by the rapid military progress made by the Taliban in recent weeks, who've been capturing districts after districts. Now, Taliban militants are pushing even towards the provincial cities, bringing their battle with Afghan security forces ever closer to regional capitals. When questioned, Biden did concede that the Taliban is at its strongest military position since 2001, but he slapped down any talk about an inevitable seizure of the entire country by the guerrillas. He said he trusted the capability of the Afghan forces.
Is the Taliban takeover of Afghanistan now inevitable?
No, it is not. Because you have the Afghan troops have 300,000 well equipped as any army in the world, and an air force against something like 75,000 Taliban. It is not inevitable.
But we have talked to your own top general in Afghanistan, General Scott Miller. He told ABC News the conditions are so concerning at this point that it could result in a civil war. So if Kabul falls to the Taliban, what will the United States do about it?
Look, you've said two things. One, that if it could result in a civil war, that's different than the Taliban succeeding, number one. Number two, the question of what will be done is going to implicate the entire region as well. There's a number of countries that have a grave concern about what's going to happen in Afghanistan relative to their security. The question is, how much of a threat to the United States of America and to our allies is whatever results in terms of a government or an agreement? That's when that judgment will be made.
Meanwhile, the country is already in the middle of a civil war situation. There are reports that Taliban have captured more than 100 of the 370 districts in Afghanistan. Civilians in many places have resorted to taking up arms to protect themselves. And Afghan women and students fear a return to the dark ages again. The possible ugly aftermath of the full withdrawal of US troops from Afghanistan is something that Biden has little control over. But going by his speech, there is certainly not going to be any rethink on the decision, irrespective of what happens in Afghanistan.